don't mess with his bathtub, and pray that his pen doesn't leak. King Charles was once dubbed the Pampered Prince for a reason. King Charles III has expressed his over-the-top frustrations on more than one occasion following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Of course, one could blame the temper tantrums on the loss of his mother. Or perhaps the king sidestepped the first stage of grief, which is denial and isolation, and went straight to the second, which is anger. But it seems that the newly appointed King Charles has a track record of angry outbursts, flaunting privilege, and seeking petty revenge. In 1994, Jonathan Dimbleby released his authorized biography of Charles, the Prince of Wales, An Intimate Portrait. The book was meant to tell Charles's side of the story following his very public split from Princess Diana. However, as Vanity Fair reports, reviews of the autobiography were scathing, as its contents were called the whining complaints of an out-of-touch, privileged man. Meanwhile, in her 1998 book, The Royals, Kitty Kelly wrote, "His level of contempt disappointed people who expected their future king to be high-minded and big-hearted, but he came across as petty and small." During the first few days of his reign, King Charles's public temper immediately sparked concern, and it doesn't appear that the situation will improve over time. In fact, King Charles continues with his over-the-top frustration at even the most minor of things. Charles's quick-to-anger temper was on full display when he signed his monarch docs on September 10th. Camilla, the queen consort, stood on guard as he waved flippantly for an aide to move an ink pot to the side of a table and then move it back again. King Charles added his moniker without assistance, but then a small tray of pens to the side of his desk was not removed at the exact time required. With a strange grimace, the king shuffled the tray back and forth, glaring until an aide removed the offending item. The king's latest outburst was also triggered by a pen. On September 13th, the new king sat at another desk signing papers, this time in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Camilla watched the proceedings while 3 aides stood behind the new king, anticipating his every need. It was a good job they were on duty because King Charles's gold fountain pen leaked a little ink onto his finger, and he was not happy. Camilla immediately sprang into action. She relieved the pen from his grasp and passed it to an aide. As the team behind them rushed to help resolve the pen emergency, the king was even caught on camera ranting about the faulty pen. It goes without saying that King Charles III is used to everything going his own way, all of the time. However, angry public outbursts after getting a little ink on his finger seem excessive, even by royal standards. As a result, commoners already view the new king unfavorably compared to his predecessor, and it would seem that Charles's succession has forced the public to question the purpose of the royal family in modern times. Politico's editorial director, Ryan Heath, wrote, "King Charles is finally His Majesty, but thanks to decades of sometimes illegal tabloid scrutiny and his self-generated missteps in marriage and politics, he takes the crown and scepter with less majesty than his mother."
There's only room for one sovereign at a time, not two.
According to a YouGov survey, support for the British monarchy has dropped from 67% to 56% in the past decade. As such, Charles's popularity remains in jeopardy as the world mourns Queen Elizabeth II. Yahoo reported in 2021 that even other members of the royal family were turning against Charles because of his ongoing anger at his son, Prince Harry. However, the pampered prince turned pen-hating king is unlikely to change his demeanor at this stage of life. As Princess Diana's former butler, Paul Burrell, claimed in the documentary, serving the royals inside the firm, his pajamas are pressed every morning, his shoelaces are pressed flat with an iron, the bath plug has to be in a certain position, and the water temperature has to be just tepid. If his latest outburst over his pen is any indication, we haven't seen the last of King Charles's over-the-top displays of entitlement just yet.